Hey everybody. So UFC Fight Night Overheem Volkov is in the books. The co-main event featured Frankie Edgar and Corey Sandhagen. How did this fight shake out? What are the implications as for the results in the bantamweight division? And what's next for the winner of the fight? We'll talk about that next. Welcome to Throwing Bows. I'm Jose. I'm here with Maria.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
And I'm here with John.
What's up, everybody?
Let's
You're
take
a
care of
damn
some
fool.
business before we get into it. Let's take care of this business. Please like and subscribe below. If you'd like to comment in less than 140 characters, hit us up on Twitter at BowsThrowing. Again, that's at BowsThrowing. So, with that done, the bantamweight clash for UFC Vegas 18 or UFC Fight Night in the co-main event featured the number 2 Corey Sandhagen against Frankie Edgar, who has come down from 55 to 45, and this was supposed to be his revitalization at 35 bantamweight. So Edgar trying to put one more title run together. Sandhagen was taking on a serious challenge while he's waiting for the winner of Jan Sterling, which is going to happen on March 6th at UFC 259. So that kind of sets everything else up. So let's just dive right into it. So what happened? Within the first 15 seconds, Sandhagen knees Frankie to hell. And so let's just talk about that really quickly. Just initial reactions. Did you even have time? Were you guys in the middle of trying to get a beer or a drink or something, and you just blinked and you missed it? Maria, what happened with that knee?
No, I was looking dead at the screen, and it's the type of thing that you don't want to see, right? Like you of course want to see spectacular knockouts, but you don't want to see spectacular knockouts against legends in the sport, coming off their prime. It almost feels just dirty to even enjoy it. So it was very much like, holy shit, and oh no, is Frankie okay? All at the same time. Like, I don't remember the last time. Oh no, wait a minute. We got that later on in the night again, but definitely before this fight, I don't remember the last time that I had that feeling as a fan. So it was amazing, but it was hard to watch.
John, initial thoughts when you saw Sandhagen just basically knee Frankie to hell?
I thought I was watching a live action version of Mortal Kombat. I think I audibly yelled "fuck," like I dropped, and it's. I guess we'll get into it, but my initial reaction was like, "What just happened?"
Yeah. Yeah. To be honest with you, it was the number 2 versus the number 4. You're thinking these guys are, anything can happen. Of course, it's an MMA fight, but you start thinking like, let's settle in. Like maybe, not in the first 30 seconds. I'm going to have time to adjust, put my beer down, like get some things up, maybe quickly post something witty on Twitter. I didn't have time for any of that. So, that came out of nowhere.
You wouldn't have gotten 20 characters out.
Right, I didn't get anything in. I just started hitting delete on it. So
I got 9.
Go ahead. You got 9.
I was saying as far as characters, I got 9. Literally, it was holy shit! ! That was it.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So let's talk about how we got to that knee, right? And so Frankie is trying to gauge the distance. Before the fight, he had mentioned that when they asked him who did Sandhagen remind him of, he gave them two names of some other fighters that he had fought that were lengthy. He was saying this is kind of the kid kind of reminds me of these guys, and so I felt as if going into it, I was like, okay, well Frankie's done this before. He's fought range guys. He's going to come and he's going to find his range. And so Frankie is kind of coming in, and then just out of nowhere, it's funny because exactly what everyone was saying Hooker was going to do to Chandler, a longer, lengthier guy against a shorter, squatter guy in Chandler, exactly what everybody thought Dan Hooker was going to do to Michael Chandler is exactly what Corey Sandhagen did to to Frankie Edgar in that he was stepping out, he gets an angle, and then he gets a knee. And he just lowered. I mean, he just lowers the boom. It hits him with all the charge. Yeah, I mean, so, any thoughts on the technique, Maria, that you saw coming from Sandhagen's knee, the setup, anything like that?
I just think that it was a beautiful setup. Like, at the end of the day, I'm guilty a lot of times of giving casuals a lot of shit. And let's face it, everybody was a casual at some point before they got into the fight.
Fair.
Or it got really into watching fights. So with that said, for the casual fan, it may have seemed like something very random, like he just randomly, to John's point about it looking like a Mortal Kombat thing, like somebody just hit A and all of a sudden, he's in the goddamn air. That's not the case. The side-to-side movement, and I know that during the broadcast, Dominic came back to this point actually more than once. I think also trying to educate the casual fan, but the side-to-side movement and how he had Frankie positioned, it was definitely set up well. You couldn't have timed, for poor Frankie, it wasn't a bad shot, but for Sandhagen, you could not have timed that better for when he went to start changing levels to shoot, to go ahead and jump up with that knee. I wonder, and I don't recall, and it could have just been because I was still kind of in shock that I wasn't really listening to his post-fight, but I don't recall anybody asking him, but I'm sure he has practiced that multiple times, because he would have been an idiot to come into this fight against Frankie and not believe for a second, as crisp as a boxer as Frankie can be, that Frankie wasn't going to shoot. And so I think it was a masterful game plan. I don't think, because, I do remember DC asking him something about his bag of tricks and was this in the bag of tricks? And Sandhagen said, he had wanted to show a little bit more of his wrestling, because his wrestling, he, by his own admission, he's not that great of a wrestler. I don't think that the plan was for it to happen as quickly as it did, but I do believe that they had practiced that setup in the event that he found himself getting in trouble with the shots, for him to attempt that knee and execute that knee. So, it was a hell of a knee. What else can you say,
So then, John, let me take the opposite approach then with you. Let's look at the different side. Let's look at the flip side. So Maria kind of went down into the Sandhagen one. Just, if you had to take a guess, what do you think the Toms River clan had Frankie prepared to do to come in? What was the game plan? Because it looked like they, at least from the couple of seconds we saw, it looked like they were basically saying, press the action, almost take the Michael Chandler hoof approach, which is put him on his heels and push him against the cage, and let's see what we can get. Did you see a little bit of that? Did you get any idea of maybe what Frankie's team was thinking about?
I'm not entirely sure. It's a hard thing to come up with any kind of estimation as to what happened, especially within 15 seconds. I barely had time, like you said, Jose, to adjust to the fact that the fight had even started. It looked as if Frankie knew that probably his wrestling, like Sandhagen said, was not the best. So he was going to look to press the action and pressure and, work takedown. And Sandhagen, shout out to him, they must have known. They knew something. They knew something. They just, the light shined bright on that team because it worked perfect. This is almost the same as what Masvidal did to Askren in that regard.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be willing to bet that there will be a video coming from Sandhagen's basement of him working on this specifically.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's a good call. Yeah, no, definitely. Really, really good call. Okay, so then let's transition. So Sandhagen's next fight, he's number 2. He's at the end of the fight. He definitely called for, and if you're the number 2 guy and you knock out the number 4 guy in 30 seconds, he's definitely saying that he wants the winner of Sterling and Jan. So he admitted he lost to Sterling, but he's not the same fighter. He would like to get his revenge on Sterling. Jan is starting to say that he is okay with fighting Dillashaw when Dillashaw comes back from his 2-year ban. And I was okay. This is me personally. I was okay with Sandhagen saying, well, I'm here. So this guy's getting off the 2-year ban, Jan. And if you do beat Sterling, you're trying to like sideswipe me to get a guy who's been on the bench for 2 years. You know, so I think it's interesting that Sandhagen, and rightfully so, should get his title fight next. So this is a 2-part question. So let's answer this first. Let's go start it off with John. John,
okay.
The winner of Sterling Jan, Sandhagen gets the title shot next.
Yes, absolutely. I think if
okay, all right. So
I think if Sandhagen's smart and plays his cards right, he takes a couple of days off and he stays ready. Because who knows how things could play out. Just stay ready. Be the on-call fighter.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good point. I mean, they've already had to move this match. The Sterling Jan match was actually supposed to take place originally when we got that Figueiredo Moreno
Figueiredo stepped in
main
to save
event.
the day.
That was a fill-in for them. So yeah, no, good point. Exactly. You might as well stay ready because he does deserve it. But I mean, he didn't even get touched. It was 30 seconds of work. If Sterling has to drop or if Jan has to drop, Sandhagen can step in, and then he could be fighting for an interim belt, so to speak, if he has to fight Sterling. Maria, what do you think? If Sterling or Jan wins, the winner gets Sandhagen.
Absolutely. I mean, there's no, it's not even a yes. It's are we really even asking this fucking question? We know how Uncle Dana does things, so it would be completely in the realm of possibility that TJ would come back and go straight for a belt because technically he didn't lose the belt, whatever they want to try to say, whatever bullshit they want to give us. The bottom line is you were suspended for breaking the rules. You were not suspended because the sky is blue. You were suspended because you broke the fucking rules. So sit your ass down, take on somebody else in the top 5. Sandhagen is the only fight to make, in my opinion.
Okay. All right, so then let me give a hypothetical out there because I love these. Sterling and Jan have a split decision. Either way it goes, it's a split decision, 29-28, 28-29, 29-28. It's a good fight. Uncle Dana pretty much says, hey, listen, Sandhagen, I know that I promised, I know Dillashaw, I know Sandhagen, I know you guys may have thought you would get the winner, but I got to run this back one more time. It was 29-20, it was a split decision, and it was a good fight, and I want to run it back one more time before I bring someone else into the mix. So the Jan Sterling match happens in March. Let's just say those guys get about a 4-5 month suspension for that before they get to go at it again. That would put them roughly around July. So Sterling and Jan would fight in July one more time. If there's a Sterling Jan 2, that would happen in July. Sandhagen would have fought in February. More than likely, because you saw it, he took the Frankie Edgar fight, and it was a dangerous decision to make. Does he take another fight while he's waiting for Sterling Jan 2? And if that's the case, who would you guys be interested? He's got Rob Font up there. He's got Garbrandt still laying around somewhere. He's got Dillashaw coming back. Is there one you can think of, or should he just stay inactive while he's waiting? And I'll kick that to John.
There's a difference between a close fight, competitive, and a fight that ends controversially where you need to run it back.
Mm-hmm.
Just because the score says 29-28 doesn't mean it ended in some sort of tomfoolery. You know what that means? It means you had two capable fighters inside the ring or cage, and they both did what they had been trained to do. And that's what happened. Now, with that being said, I don't think you should wait. Stay active. I know it's a dangerous game to play, but bills need to be paid. put some money in your pocket. I think there's a scenario playing out, and DC kind of mentioned that our boy Dominic Cruz was getting back into camp. Funny. I wonder who he might be getting ready for. Think it might be Dillashaw. Just throwing it out there. I short of some Herb Dean-esque, Steve Mazzagatti-esque referee screw up of some kind.
No, not Steve.
Yeah, I threw him under the bus. Pow, 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 coming in hot. Yeah. Short of some freak injury of some kind, there's no way they should run it back that quickly. Sandhagen deserves the next shot. But like you said, Dana is Dana. So we'll see.
Okay. All right. And so, Maria, questions now posed to you. If Sterling and Jan has to go Sterling Jan 2 because Dana wants to see it one more time, Sandhagen stays inactive, stays active. And if he stays active, Dillashaw, Font, Garbrandt, anybody that you would think he would want to keep his sword sharpened, so to speak?
All right. So I want to start by saying that I agree with John. There is a difference between a close fight, and there is a difference between Reyes versus John Jones. In a Reyes versus John Jones scenario, then yes, you absolutely have to run it back because the whole world clearly saw a different fight than what those judges saw. Short of that, there should be no Jan Sterling 2. At the end of the day, what does everyone always say? Don't leave it in the judge's hands. So if you want to make sure that you win that belt. Don't leave it in the judge's hands. That said, Uncle Dana's Uncle Dana. Even though scheduling a Jan Sterling 2, in my opinion, could affect the integrity of the damn organization if there isn't just cause for doing it, he might do it because that's what Dana does, and we're still going to watch it. That said, I don't agree with John. I think that the risks are too high. He's already taken a risk, and it worked out. And I love Frankie, and I've loved Frankie for years. So no disrespect when I say this. Him taking a fight against the number 4 in Frankie at 39 years of age and still a savage, you can't take anything away from Frankie, was incredibly dangerous. Him taking on anyone else in the top 5 right now, waiting, would be, in my opinion, even more dangerous than taking that fight with Frankie. He is also a savage, so it may not matter, but I would hate to see happen to him what, for example, and we've got another video where I broke down the whole thing with JoJo Calderwood and her being upset about not getting a rematch or getting her fight with Valentina Shevchenko. You went out and lost in spectacular fashion while you were waiting for your fight to be rescheduled. If something like that were to happen with Sandhagen, there are way too many other incredibly talented fighters in that top 5 that will slide right on in there. I don't think it's worth the risk.
All right.
I didn't say you had to agree with me, John. I just don't think it's worth the risk.
Me personally,
it's the reason you gamble and I don't.
There's some truth to that.
You're absolutely right. I think that I would be interested in a Font Sandhagen, but that's a me thing. Sandhagen, at the end of the day, has got to do what's good for him. But yeah, I think that if I personally had my druthers, I would like, if it goes Jan Sterling 2, and then I actually get Cruz, Dillashaw, and then Sandhagen says, okay, well, who's going to be my dance partner? I think Font Sandhagen would be an interesting fight, but it's dangerous. And so what's the upside if you're Sandhagen?
I'll push back with this. I don't think Edgar was all that of a dangerous fight for Sandhagen at all. I don't want to say complete easy money, but I don't think it was as dangerous as people thought Now, with that being said, the champ and Sterling are two different animals, and we'll see. We will see.
Yeah, we will. So with that, let's just get into it. And it could be a simple yes or no, or just one sentence if you want to. I'm just gonna pose a question: should Frankie consider retiring at 39? And I'll put that to you first, Maria.
Yes.
Frankie retiring?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
I mean, I've got a lot to say about it, but simple answer, yes.
Okay. John, what do you think? Frankie should consider retiring?
I don't want to tell another grown man what to do, but I mean, I don't know. It's been a long time. It's definitely a conversation that needs to take place. I think he would be fantastic on the mic, on TV.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, get Bisping out of there. He can't put a whole sentence together.
Whoa! What you not about to do?
I can't even tell who he's looking at.
No, you're not doing that to my boy.
I mean,
you ain't shit for that, and you ain't shit for that. I like Michael Bisping on the mic, so
I'd like him more
if
he could get his thoughts out properly. So maybe he needs Maria to make some tools for him for broadcasting for dummies. I mean, because there were a couple of times during the broadcast, Joe Ban was looking at him like, what the fuck?
Joe Ban is definitely sharpening that tool. I'm like, I don't know, kid. Maybe, I know you're young. Maybe you shouldn't go back. I don't know, Joe Ban. You're LFA and UFC.
Listen, that's a whole nother conversation right there.
Here's where we'll leave it. Here's where I'm going to leave it with this. If Frankie doesn't want to retire, I agree with John. I don't want to tell an older man. I don't want to tell another man how to mix his finances. If he thinks he's still got it, he's got it. But at this point, Frankie, now you have to understand, it's done, dog. We're not giving you any more top 5 guys, maybe even top 7 guys. We're giving you 10 through 15, and welcome to being the upper gatekeeper. Welcome to that. That's who you are now, Frankie. And we will help you. You're not going to be the guy that decides if the 25th ranked guy deserves to be the 15th ranked guy. We won't do that to you yet. You obviously still have skills, but you're not fighting for a belt anymore.
No. You're guarding the top 10.
Yeah, and if Frankie's okay with that, then make your money. But it's I don't think that Frankie should think that he's going to get after this loss a Font. I don't think that he should consider a Garbrandt. I don't think he should consider the loser of Sterling. Yeah, I just don't that's not in the books anymore, Frankie. There's some up and comers, and you got to check them. You know what I mean? There was a guy that couldn't make the fight today. They tried to give him 3 different fights, and he's in your division. That may be your next guy. When they clear you in July, or when they clear you in August, maybe you give this kid a fight.
Yeah, I'm about to say, he went to sleep. We're not seeing him until later this year.
No, you won't see him somewhere probably towards the end of the fiscal, if at all, as approval.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was giving him 6 months at the bare minimum, but it could be more. Listen, I'm just saying, I was giving him 6 months at the bare minimum. So, that would put August. So, all right, everybody. So, thanks for tuning in. That's how we see it. If you liked what you heard, like and subscribe down below. Leave a comment and let us know what you think. Hit us up on Twitter @BowsThrowing if you want to discuss anything in the world about MMA. We cover all MMA, not just. Listen, John watched that bare knuckles thing with Paige Van Sant. I did. Yeah, I was gonna say. So if you think they're not watching this, somebody here did. We watched it. We watched it. So
I wanted to gouge my eyeballs out afterwards, but
we watched it. So with that being said, thank you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll catch you next time. Peace.
Bye,
everybody.